Really to this webinar and what it's about. So obviously I'd like to welcome you all here, Power of Positive Thinking. I'll just move the slide. Good move. There we are. Yeah. So to give a background, okay, about myself first of all. So my name is Emer Larkin. I am a personal and executive life coach at Core Connection. So Core Connection's life coaching business for both personal and professional development. So I'm a partner with the Wellness Group, and we work with many clients in relation to positive living, leading a healthy lifestyle, how to maintain change and create change, and how to build a strong foundation of resilience and mental agility. So the main themes there, all centered then around, positive thinking, health, wellness, and fitness. So they are the main aspects there. So before, I suppose, when we get into this webinar, what I would suggest is throughout this is please do feel free to write down any questions. If you feel you have any questions throughout this, just write them down. And again, I'd love to hear any questions at the end. And please do feel free to ask any questions, which would be great. And yeah, the other part, I suppose, about this webinar as well is for you all really just to learn something new from it. If there's any new, key techniques, tools and techniques that you can take out of it yourselves on an individual basis, just to incorporate them in your own daily life, okay, both personally and professionally. So to give an outline then really of this session, what we will be discussing, the main theme here is the power of positive thinking. So we will be discussing internal dialogue, how that has an impact on our individual self. We will be discussing automatic negative thoughts, known as ANTs. Then we'll be discussing limiting beliefs. Moving on then to morning routine. What is your morning routine? What does it really look like? Is there anything you feel you'd like to change or add on? And then we'll be then going a little bit deeper then to really, I suppose, understand the concept of resilience and adaptability and how the both of them then are interlinked as well. So yeah, I hope you all really enjoy the session. And again, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to write them down and just ask me at the end. So to begin with, what I think it is very important, obviously, I know COVID-19 is everywhere and constantly on the news, and, depending on what people do, they're listening to it all the time. It is evident to say, I suppose, I think it's important just to bring this up again and, check in to see where we're all at right now, and how, this has had an impact on every single person since it begun, last March. And it's definitely significant to say that so many people, the anxiety levels have changed and people are affected in different ways. And it's also natural as well to understand, that, people are not alone in their own thinking. They have this, mixed emotions. And, going from a lot of people going from working in the physical office environment to, working from home for such a long period of time. And now, thankfully, when things are, opening up a little bit more and, reintegrating back into the physical office environment. Again, naturally, that'll take time to change because of the reverse culture shock. So the previously, familiar now becomes unfamiliar. So it's just, I suppose, understanding this really essentially, and to know that, everyone is not alone in their own thinking. And attitude then is important here to bring up. Attitude is a little thing that can make a big difference. And, one can either have a positive attitude or a negative attitude, and it's deciding, which attitude you're going to take on and which can actually have such an impact then on our daily life. So it is evident to bring up obstacles, okay, so internal and external obstacles. So what do they consist of? Internal obstacles really come down to your internal dialogue, your self-talk. What are you saying to yourself? Are you creating a positive self-talk for yourself or a negative self-talk? And then also the self-limiting beliefs are one there that can be an internal obstacle. Self-limiting beliefs I'll be discussing a little bit further, but what they are is they are beliefs that you believe that are true to yourself and that hinder you, stop you from progressing further. And that's where the negative thoughts then increase that then as well. So we'll be discussing that a little further. So the main obstacles internal, what is potentially stopping inside with the positive or negative self-talk, and then self-limiting beliefs. The external obstacles then, as I mentioned, by COVID-19, that is a typical example, is an event. Okay, so how are you, responding to the event, or how are you reacting? You either are going to respond accordingly to the event, or you're going to react impulsively. So I'm sure many people here have been in situations where things have come up and you weren't expecting it, and then you suddenly realize that you just reacted impulsively. And it's having that time to think rather than reacting straight away, is to have that time, that space, and then respond accordingly. That serves you best and in terms of overall outcome. And that's something, again, then we'll look in a little bit further. So just two important points here. What obstacles do we all have to face? So with the internal dialogue, and you're talking about the power of positive thinking, this is where you're talking about the positive self-talk. And it obviously has such profound impact on our daily life, because all our thoughts, what we think, if we have, for example, a negative mindset and constantly negative thinking, and sometimes people don't realize this at a subconscious level as well, but it can, take over, and it can, drain the person. It can take all the energy out of the person, the will and enthusiasm, the drive, the focus, and again, energy levels as well. So all of these are affected, and this is just down to negative thinking. And it's amazing the impact of what that can have. So if you were to think, if you were to even work that little bit harder on really creating that positive mindset, it'd be wonderful to know, what new outcomes could actually come then, on a daily basis, and then also long term as well. So how do we create that positive mindset? Really, it's fine-tuning your focus in the present moment, and that's what it comes down to. It's not allowing any negative thoughts to come in, and first of all, being aware of those. Are there any negative thoughts going on? Acknowledging them, and then actually dealing with them then. And I'll just go through then how we can actually start that process. So one point I would make, how to create that positive inner dialogue, is to fine-tune your focus in the present moment, that you're actually completely focusing right here and right now, not allowing any kind of negative self-talk to come in. So one example is to notice it, notice any negative self-talk or negative sabotage, notice it, set a trap for it, and obliterate it, then get rid of it. So moving on to the automatic negative thoughts that I mentioned earlier, as you can see here, okay, just even looking at this slide, there's so much going on. And that's also an important point to make too. When you've so much, thoughts going on, it can be quite overwhelming. And again, a distraction, and it depletes the focus then in actually focusing on the here and now and getting things done. So what they are essentially are a series of thoughts that can occupy your mind from seconds to minutes to hours. And it really depends on you how long you're going to let it keep going. So the more we notice what we're thinking about, the more we can interrupt it. So some examples here of automatic negative thoughts. I won't be able to pass the exam. I can't do this. My worth depends on what others think of me. I am inferior. I shouldn't have. So what they're really based around is anticipating what's going to happen in the future in a negative way. So it's not going to turn out right at all. It's it's going to be disaster, and so on. And it's also commenting about the past and things that you did previously in the past, and you're commenting about it. So there's a sense of judgment. So on average, on a daily level, people think roughly 50 to 70,000 thoughts a day, and 80% of them are mainly negative. So that is an interesting statistic. And again, just at the subconscious level, sometimes people don't realize it either. So what a really good practice is in how to deal with them is, first of all, to actually recognize it and see. And sometimes little thoughts jump in. Again, sometimes thoughts jump in, and it's first of all recognizing it, and then you're challenging it. So how do you change this around? You are thinking of the automatic negative thought and moving it into a positive and affirming thought. So if it's negative, not supporting you, you redirect it. You're thinking about the positive outcome here, and you're visualizing how the outcome can turn out well. So the first point is, how do you actually redirect it? It's recognizing it. Do you have any negative thoughts? And then it's redirecting it then into a positive, affirming thought, then known as PAT. So moving on to the limiting beliefs and how the automatic thoughts are connected to the limiting beliefs. Because of these thoughts, and sometimes people may allow it to get in them and it frustrates them, and they can't get past it. Then it soon becomes a belief for them that they actually believe it to be true, and something that is stopping them from actually progressing and moving forward. The two examples here: I can't and I don't. So I can't get organized because I'm not a planner. I don't have any patience. Limiting belief, it's never going to happen. Nothing else I can do about it. But a simple technique really is looking at this again, and it's changing it around then into a positive affirmation. So how can you change the word order around, direct it into a positive statement? So I am becoming more organized as I learn to plan each day. I have the patience to sit with the problem until I find a solution. So that's the first point, just to make that it's really, really useful to do that. And one suggestion what I would make for all of you here in this morning's webinar is, even after this, and when you have time today, just to, if you have a journal, which again is very useful, or a gratitude journal, anything like that, is to write down your self-limiting beliefs. Think about them. Do you have any self-limiting beliefs? Could be one or two, or it could be 5 or 10. To write them all down. First of all, you're aware what are the limiting beliefs. It's really, really good practice to do. And then to take time in changing the limiting belief then and forming it into a positive affirmation. As you can see, 2 examples here and how you can change that word order around. You may not necessarily believe it now that, for example, the organized, but by doing this, by forming it into a positive affirmation and saying it twice a day, once in the morning time when you wake up and once at night time before you go to bed, to say it for a period of 27 to 30 days, twice a day. The reason being is the repetitive action, and that you are saying it on a daily basis and you're creating that habit. So it's moving that negative thought into a positive thought, and you actually will be acting on it then as well. So by setting that intention and creating that positive outlook, it's amazing the effects that can have. And from many different studies done and many clients that I work with as well, I would always suggest this, and I've always heard great feedback, people coming back and saying how things have changed, for the better. Sometimes people may think that they could be skeptical to it and so on, but with anything and with the habit, it's first of all having that good intention, but it's acting on it, it's putting the practice in, and it's repeating it, it's having that repetitive action, and results then can come from that. So it's a useful exercise to think about if any of you are interested in doing this after this webinar. So going down to the belief system, how do we actually form that strong belief system within. And first of all, we know what our internal dialogue looks like. We're either going to have a positive internal dialogue, positive self-talk, or negative self-talk. Having that positive self-talk is going to be very, very good. Then we're looking at our automatic negative thoughts. If there's so much going on there, we're writing them down and we're putting them into a positive, affirming thought. And then we're moving on towards self-limiting beliefs, because the thoughts become into the self-limiting beliefs. Once we recognize our self-limiting beliefs, we write them down and we change them into positive affirmation. We could have 5 positive affirmations, but I would suggest to choose just one to start off with, to do in the morning and the evening time for a period of 27, 30 days. And to repeat this then on a daily basis. So this is how then we form that positive mindset within. And that's what it comes down to, just a key technique there. So really what it does come down to, a simple technique can provide a powerful outcome. And having that strong belief system just really, really genuinely creates a great foundation. And with anything, I think it's important to know, we may know these certain things, but it's actually applying it and it's putting it into action. It's finding that time and it's following through, it's maintaining it. And it could be well and good to do it for 1 or 2 days, and then something else has come up that's more important and that's put to the side. So it's really just checking in with yourself to see, is this something that you value, that you see that's important, and do you think that you may benefit from it? And it's just deciding if you want to put that little bit of time into it on a daily basis then too. So the positive belief system there. So with the power of positivity, what I mentioned there, the other ways, 4 ways then that we can tap into it is, as I said there, learn to substitute every negative thought with the positive one, to try and see the positive side of every situation. That can be difficult, even when you're surrounded by negativity. And then, at least once a day, try and think of 5 things you are grateful for. And to change the mental imagery then you allow to enter into your mind. And again, talking about visualization, the power of visualization is wonderful as well. And thinking, for example, if you've any challenges ahead of you, sport related or any work related activities that it may be seeing as a big challenge for you, it's to enhance that enthusiasm within and look forward to it, and prepare yourself for it. And you eradicate any kind of nerves that are there, and you visualize a good outcome then for yourself. You visualize yourself actually doing it as well. So visualization is very powerful also. So I suppose with anything then, and for all of this that we know here and the knowledge, and we know what to do, it's again putting it into action. And the only way possible really, and to create that strong foundation, is having that discipline. It's having that systematic structure on your life on a daily basis again. And then just asking yourself the question, what is your routine like? What does it look like? Is there anything that you feel you would like to change or add on? Is it serving you at the moment? Your morning routine when you wake up to the moment you go to bed at night time. Are all of these things, is there anything you feel that you like? Having structure is really good formula and foundation for not allowing any any negativity to come in. So that's a really, really good structure. Then with motivation, you have the internal motivation and external motivation. So it's to look at who is there for you in terms of motivation. What resources do you use? Do you have enough resources? What support do you have? Are there people that you can rely on, that you can talk to? Do you feel you need an accountability coach for you, a life coach, in order to help you to move forward, to achieve your goals, to make sure that you're completing them and following through? What resources in terms of motivation? What do you like doing? Do you find listening to music is beneficial? Just to even ask those questions. What helps? What is good for you in terms of motivation? As I mentioned then earlier about the morning routine, what I've done here is I've collated the definite main concepts that are really important for morning routine and obviously daily routine. So again, every individual is different, and it's finding what technique works for you best, essentially. And what I'll go through here, I'll just briefly outline some of them, and obviously I'm sure a lot of you here are aware of them. You also will receive a copy of tools and techniques in relation to this after this webinar as well. So I suppose with the benefits of deep breathing, they're essentially, a lot of people, don't know how to breathe correctly, at times. So just understanding that of actually really using the power of your breath. So the benefits of deep breathing, it's a great way to detoxify. It is fantastic for blood circulation and oxygenation. It's great, actually, deep breathing is very good, being receptive to visualization. It's also excellent for creating a state of calm and peace. And also, anytime when stress and anxiety comes in during the day, there's so much going on, so much work-related tasks, and you need a space out. You need to take that deep breath. The 4, 7, 8 breathing technique is very useful. So that is inhaling for the count of 4, holding your breath for the count of 7, and exhaling for the count of 8. So 4, 7, 8 breathing technique there. Again, just asking you the question yourself then to see, do you make the most of this and make the most of your breath? With meditation, then I will discuss a little further and go into the different types of meditation. Again, it's finding the best form that suits you best. Every individual is different. Mindfulness and the power of now, essentially, okay, being able to live in the present moment, fine-tuning your focus in the moment. Again, this is easier said than done. It definitely takes practice in order to get there, to achieve that fully. And with mindfulness and meditation, a lot of people like to use their daily activities as a meditative experience. So walking meditation then is being fully aware of the activity that you're doing and not allowing any kind of negative thoughts to get in, and you are aware of your surroundings, you're taking everything in and you're appreciating that moment in time. Different to maybe sometimes when you're on autopilot and you're running from A to B to C and you don't even have time to even take everything in, essentially, and be in the now. So just important to note this. As I mentioned earlier about the gratitude journal, yeah, this is really useful as well, and a lot of people find it beneficial in writing their gratitude journal in the morning time. First thing they wake up, and just writing down the things that people are appreciative in their life, and the importance of this. Some people like to do it at night time as well. And then asking yourself the question, do you have a gratitude journal? Is it something that you would like to use now, to take up? Again, just to consider this. Then with everything, obviously, exercise and mindful movement. So again, really useful. What exercise are you doing? What do you enjoy doing? Do you like running, cycling, walking, Pilates, yoga, Tai Chi, any of these exercises? I know, obviously, since the pandemic and so on, and how people had to adjust to different different environments and so on. Also, that's the exercise regime when you're looking at that, and all the gyms that were closed. It's looking to see what exercise serves you. So it's always nice to be able to mix it up a bit as well. To think if you're into running, maybe into cycling or vice versa, and also just to have that change too. So again, the importance of exercise are obviously really, really important. And mindful movement, I mentioned there, yoga and Tai Chi. So that's really just looking at the, your own physical movements, being aware of every single stretch and every single exercise that you're doing. And that's how incorporating the mind and body connection And that's how it's with yoga and Tai Chi are so popular, and how it has such a benefit on so many people. So for example, for me in my morning routine is I like to mix it up. So every morning is not the same, but I do like to mix it up. So for example, 10 minutes meditation in the morning, I use a foam roller to stretch out my body. And then I do 10 minutes sitting meditation in silence. So I find that really, really useful, just to start that strong, good foundation for the day to get myself geared up. Other mornings then include, a cycle or running or a walk. So it's really just mixing it up. And then the evening time, I do some yoga exercises, play tennis, and so on. So just finding out what is your mindful movement. Are you doing any mindful movements at the moment? Again, is this something you'd like to take up? And what's your morning routine like? Would you like to change it up or add anything else on? So nutrition, again, that is clearly important, looking at, in terms of energy levels and, what's your diet intake? What's that look like? How does that serve you at the moment? And then also with sleep quality too, with everything, the sleep quality is important. And again, asking yourself the question, do you, go to bed at the same time every night and get up at the same time every morning? Do you try to make sure that you're not on your laptop or screen or phone, at least an hour before you go to bed, that you have no screen time? Are you doing all of these things that can potentially help yourself in the best way possible to have a good night's sleep? And are you getting 8 hours quality sleep for yourself? And again, the benefits of having the correct amount of sleep is crucial, and it can be difficult at times to do that, but the benefits overall in terms of energy levels and so on, it definitely is impactful. So it's just to look at that as well. Is there anything you could do to improve your sleep quality? So I mentioned there about the meditation and the different types. So essentially, I suppose everyone would want to live a meditative life, and there's many different types of meditation. So one is reflection meditation, and people like to do this at the end of their day before they go to bed at night. And essentially, you're just reflecting over your day. You're thinking what you did that day, what you achieved that day. So I got this morning, I had breakfast, I went to work, I had a friend after work, I did this, I did that. So you're reflecting on the day, and it's really useful just to be aware and know what you did that day, and again, and looking at it that way, and also with work-related tasks as well. Contemplation meditation, then it's just digging in a little bit deeper. You're asking yourself the question, what is my purpose? What do I want? And you are you're just asking yourself that question to see, what it is that you specifically want, and that's contemplating on that. And the other types of meditation, as I mentioned, walking meditation, that you're immersed completely in the activity. You're taking everything in the here and now, and you're not allowing any negative thoughts to take over, that you're completely focused in the present moment. And then we have guided meditation. Some people like guided meditation, others don't. They prefer meditating in silence as well. The breath meditations I mentioned earlier, the 4-7-8 breathing technique, incorporating the breath in every single activity that you do. And that's really making the use of all different activities as well. Even if you're doing 15 minutes of exercise, of yoga or Pilates, whatever it is, to make sure that you are actually breathing correctly, that you're making the use of that exercise. And mantra meditation then as well. So we have all different types of meditation. Again, just having that intention and actually, deciding your focus. Where are you going to actually put your focus into? What are you going to give time to that deserves your energy and time, and something that you want to work on yourself with anything. So just realizing this and what time you're actually going to put into this. Then with resilience, then here it's important to outline this of how, it's such a broad term of and how, what's your resilience like inside, and what do you do to, keep going, and how do you deal with any challenges that come your way, and, dealing with adversity, and, what are your tools and techniques? What do you do to help yourself? So with one thing here, which is important, is emotional intelligence. And that really comes down to self-awareness. Self-awareness of your own emotions, moods, drives, and behavior, and also aware of other people's as well. So being aware of your own, and being listening to other people too, actively listening to other people, being there for other people, and aware again of what's going on as well. Having that empathy, compassion, and kindness is, not only so useful for yourself, especially if, say, you just have a bad day and you felt like so many different things were going wrong for you. Being kind to yourself is just can have such obviously great benefits to it, and it's important to be kind to yourself and to be kind to others, and having that self-compassion too. With the emotional intelligence also, when I think of emotional intelligence, I think of Daniel Goleman. So he's an American psychologist, and he's written many books on emotional intelligence. And he outlines 5 main concepts of emotional intelligence: is self-awareness, internal motivation, self-regulation, empathy, and social skills. So just incorporating all of that, and to see, again, just self-awareness side of things, and checking in with yourself from time. Have you been taken over by any kind of negative thinking? And, are you thinking rationally? And if you have, then it's to write them down, bring it into a positive, affirming thought, and then looking at your limiting beliefs and changing that into a positive affirmation. And I think with anything resilience, I think it's flexibility and adaptability as well. So they are definitely both linked. And how can we, adapt to change? And a really good thing to do is to experiment and to take on new challenges that are realistic for you, that you want to do, and something that excites you. So one useful, experiment to do is to take up, 3 new things, and to see how you're getting on with them then over a period of time. If it's something that you want to keep on doing, well and good. If it's not, then at least you try to do it. And then it's going on then to the next stage then, and looking at 3 more then as well. So again, experimentation is relevant. So looking at the protective factors of resilience, and again, asking yourself this question, are you doing gratitude practice? I'm sure many of you here have heard, people saying, I have a gratitude journal, and I find it very, very useful, and very, very good in terms of self-reflection and so on. It's a very good self-reflection practice, and also having that appreciation. So again, just to think, are you doing that? Is it something you would like to take up? Then the optimism too, then practicing that self-compassion, as I mentioned earlier. Having that positive effect, naturally, we're all not going to have amazing days all the time, 7 days a week. And that's, evident, but also we will have the good intention, and we want to be able to, be in that positive frame of mind to follow through, but also to have goals to work towards. And then asking yourself the question again, do you have a, positivity coach, a mentor, someone that you can reach out to? If you feel that there's a drive there within you, that you want to achieve something on a personal level, there is a goal there that you've been thinking about for so long, but you kept putting it to the back because there was other things that were more important. But now this might be a time to think, is there something there that I'd like to work on? Do I need that kind of accountability side of things for a person to help me to follow through with it then as well? Then self-efficacy, then looking at your successes, self-evaluation, and goal setting. With anything, and having that excitement and enthusiasm, having those goals to look forward to, definitely again helps. And it's not only, you know, thinking of the outcome of I'll get this, you know, it's the whole journey, it's the process of it, and it's learning along the way of anything new that you can take from that, any, you know, mistakes that were made or so on, that you can learn from it, that it wasn't that that you were making the use of your time. So important to note that. Then, yeah, your self-esteem, appraising your own value and knowing what you're worth, again, really important, and to acknowledge this. And then also with social support, then having the positive relationships, you know, both work and on a personal level too. Who is there to support you, in terms of friends and family, and so on. And do you feel there are people there that you can reach out to, that you can trust, and that you can talk to? Because with anything, being able to share how you feel is really, really beneficial. So these are good, useful 6 protective factors for resilience. And with anything to with so it's moving forward as well, the comfort zone is it's useful to know. When I hear comfort zone, I think of 3 circles. So the small little circle is your comfort zone, the outer circle is the stretch zone, and the third then circle is the overwhelm zone. So typically people obviously always want to be on the stretch zone. Being in the comfort zone, you feel static, the fear is there, not wanting to try anything new. You know, you're used to your own ways, you'll always be there, nothing else will change. But having that then intention to think, well, you know, maybe I want to get a bit more excitement here. I want to get a challenge. I want to challenge myself, see how, you know, on any different goal that you're looking forward to. In order to do that, it's just stepping out and looking at that. And, you know, are they goals that you can achieve as well? So are they specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound? Can you achieve them? So some people, you know, have, you know, half marathon that they're planning on doing, you know, marathon. Others have, they're taking up a new instrument. So piano, guitar. They, you know, were used to sing before and they stopped. Now they'd like to go back singing again. Painting, drawing, art, writing poetry. You know, so many different things. I mean, so I'm sure there's so many creative people here that naturally with work so important, but also to have that creative outlet as well, which is really, really useful, which creates that space in your mind, and also having that sense of satisfaction to being able to create something then on a personal level. And that's what really, really helps with getting out of the comfort zone. Because when you're regimented in your own sort of ways all the time, it can be difficult then to get out. So just looking for that new experiment and to see. So for example, for me, I used to play the piano a good few years back, and then it was something I recently started doing again. I went back playing, and it was really, really, I found it really beneficial. I love to play the piano. It's great for relaxation. It's also really, really good when you get that sense of satisfaction when you learn a new piece, and when you're sight reading, and then you get the whole piece together. And so yeah, that's for me is piano. And I know with so many other people, art, drawing, you know, writing poetry, and so on. So with everything like that, with the comfort zone, we want to get into the flow-like state, and that is essentially being the optimal state of performance. And to get there is really what I mentioned in this webinar, is first of all, understanding yourself, the self-awareness. You're checking in with yourself and thinking, okay, are there any big, you know, automatic negative thoughts that are going on there? Do I need to write them down? Are they getting in my way? Okay, and then if they are, you are challenging the thought and you're changing it because it's not serving you anymore. This negative thinking is not serving you, and you want to bring it into positive frame of mind. You're bringing it into the past, the positive affirming thought, and then you're looking at your self-limiting beliefs, and you're writing all them down and forming them into the positive affirmations. Are you going to choose one positive affirmation that you're going to do on a daily basis, twice a day, for 27, 30 days? really good experiment to see, does it work for you? Having that challenge to see and putting that time into it. And then with everything, as I mentioned, about meditative living and, really just trying to focus on the moment and on each task at a time. Because I know you wake up in the morning, you think, gee, you have so many things to do, where to start? And it can go into kind of a domino effect all the time. And you feel like you're constantly on the go. And even if you do have time for a break, you're still on the go. So it's just having that break, that mind set break. And again, having that 10-minute meditation in silence is really useful. Even in your working day, if you feel, say, at 4 o'clock, you just need time out to reframe and then get back in for another 45 minutes. Again, it's useful. MBSR, or mindfulness-based stress reduction. With that, as I mentioned, there's yoga, which is part of that. Your body scan, which is part of that. Some people like to do 30-minute body scan in the morning time. There are many different videos on YouTube for body scan if people are interested in looking that up. And again, the silent meditation. So just looking for these techniques of things that you can actually do yourself on an individual level, and things that are useful for you to deal with any sort of maybe stress and anxiety that comes your way, but challenging it and moving forward and getting that positive intention in. So once we have all of these intact, along with fitness, nutrition, and sleep, we get into the flow-like state, and this is where we want to be. And it's amazing when you're there, because the habits become so automatic to you. So things that you saw before, that used to be a chore, as in, say, the 10-minute meditation, or going for a walk in the morning, or whatever it may be, they'll become so automatic to you that you feel you're not even doing them. And that's where it comes to the flow-like state. But wouldn't be able to get there unless you put the time into it to create that habit and repeating it then on a daily basis. So with anything too, as again I talked about earlier, communication is definitely really important in everything we do. And if you feel, if anyone feels that there's something on their mind, and they'd like to discuss or talk to a certain person about it, but they're saying to themselves, oh, I better not, and there's an excuse coming up, or maybe I shouldn't. But essentially, for you and the other person, it's best, for any different situation, it's better off to speak and to get it off your chest, and no matter what it is, personally or professionally, to talk about it, and also to have that trust and connection, with each other. And once you're being open and honest and transparent yourself, that will come across then to other people. And again, having that communication element helps things to flow then a little bit better on all levels then as well. So we are just now going to a conclusion to this webinar. And so just the main points here I'd like to note is having that proactive approach, essentially, and that having that intention. Because sometimes with a lot of new things, people may be thinking, oh, maybe this is not for me, I won't really bother. You will never know unless you try it and you have that experimentation and to see. And if you have the good intention and you're open to it and being proactive, just to check to see how this actually will serve you. And then with the thoughts, going back to the thoughts, so adjusting your thoughts to the way you want to act, feel, and behave. And that's what it comes down to. If you're going to be thinking in that negative way, a lot of times you're going to be acting negatively. It's going to impact you. You're not going to be in a good mood. It's going to drain your energy levels, and so on. So if you're to get onto the other side, what is that going to feel like? And having that sense of content, and being open to new things and that are coming your way, and being able to really, really enjoy the moment and take everything in. So yeah, just to note also, creating the strong foundation of resilience and the protective factors that are there. Are you doing those things? Is a gratitude journal something that you'd like to take up now if you're not already doing it? And staying connected, And then creativity. Is there a creative outlet, something that you're doing now? And by all means, definitely keep on going with it. If there's not, and it's something you thought that you've been on your mind that you wanted to do for quite some time, why not think about it now? Is the time that you'd like to take it up and to see how you get on with it. So yeah, I hope you all really enjoyed this webinar, and there's any new key tools and techniques that you can take out from it, please do think about it, and do think about the self-limiting beliefs exercise. Is that something that you would like to do for yourself? Also to let you know, you will get a copy of tools and techniques in relation to the morning routine then as well. So just before we come to an end, I would love to know, does anyone have any questions?
I don't, but I did find it very interesting. Thank you very much.
Okay, no problem. No problem. 1 second. Okay, going to make your jam this evening. Brilliant. Great to hear. Great to hear, Tara. Yeah. Well, I hope you all, if no one has any questions at all, yeah, I definitely hope you find it useful. And again, you have our email, so if there's any questions in the meantime, you can reach out to us there as well. Okay. No problem, Eva. Thank you. Okay, so that's it for now then. No questions. Okay, I'll I'll let you all go, and great to speak with you all today, and I hope you have a great rest of the day.
Thank you.
Bye.